What's up, guys? Happy New Week and welcome back to News for You with me, Tracy. Now, on tonight's agenda, we are talking about the youth demanding political inclusion. We're also talking about the second batch of ballot papers, jazz with Jajja, and justice or oil. All of that and so much more coming up tonight. Stay tuned. Despite making up 70% of Uganda's registered voters and the majority of the population, many young people feel excluded from political and electoral processes. Youth leaders warn that this exclusion is leading to frustration, reduced political interest, and lower youth participation in elections. Now, Uganda has one of the youngest populations globally, with over 79% of citizens under the age of 35. Now, although young people dominate the electorate, their representation of parliament remains really low, with only 5 youth MPs, which is only about 1% of the House. Now, many young Ugandans say they feel unheard despite being ambitious and eager to shape the country's future. The youth female MP aspirant Diana Ampere and Mercy Kanyesije have dismissed claims that young people lack experience, saying the youth are capable of making sound decisions and contributing positively to Uganda's democracy. You guys let us know what you think about this in the comments. As Uganda prepares for the election set to begin on the 15th of January, the Electoral Commission has received its second batch of ballot papers from Dubai. Now, this consignment includes 247 ballot papers for district chairperson, city chairperson, and district woman council elections. Now, the ballot papers, which arrived yesterday at around 9 a.m. at Entebbe International Airport, were then transported to the Electoral Commission's warehouse for safe storage. Now, according to the Electoral Commission, the second shipment accounts for about 90% of the required ballot papers for the mentioned positions. The remaining 10% is expected to arrive early this week. Now, the Commission has also started packing presidential election ballot papers for distribution nationwide, while ballot papers for lower positions are being printed locally. Remember, guys, elections are coming. It's important that you show up and you vote, because your voice is your vote. At the Jazz with Jajja youth engagement that took place at State Lodge Nakasero, President Museveni said the government has a bigger long-term plan to support Uganda's creative industry, even as concerns grow over limited support for creatives. Now, speaking during the interaction, President Museveni explained that while the creative sector is important, the government's immediate focus has been on building strong economic foundations through agriculture, manufacturing, infrastructure, and market development. He noted that these sectors are critical in building a stable economy that can later sustain and fully support creative talents. The president assured creatives that they've not been sidelined, saying peace, stability, and economic growth have already allowed some talent to thrive. He emphasized that as Uganda's economy continues to grow, targeted support for creatives and innovators will be strengthened as part of Uganda's development agenda. Time for sports. Here's the latest in the sports world. We're talking about AFCON, EPL, all that good stuff. Take a look.
It's 2026 and guess what? The Premier League started off on a high note, and as we speak today, there was a breaking news coming in from all the major sport outlets that, guess what? Manchester United fans' prayers has been answered. You know what that means? Ruben Amorim has been sacked. The Portuguese tactician, coach, former Sporting coach who did amazing in Sporting, came to Manchester United and only managed to achieve 2 wins back-to-back. After 14 months of his stint at Manchester United, the club decided to do with him to build and do better. And this comes after his draw away at Leeds this weekend. They drew 1-1 with Leeds, of course, a game that he could have won if he wanted, but Leeds started up with scoring in the 62nd minute, then Manchester United coming in. Obviously scoring on the 65th minute. But that's not all. We had a couple of games over the weekend, but the most important one was Arsenal's win, beating Bournemouth 3-2. Then other 2 good results that made Arsenal fans so happy. Guess what? We had a Manchester City up against Chelsea that had just lost their coach Enzo Maresca, who left the team. Of course, because of some here and there speculations, rumors that Manchester City has already approached him on whether he could replace Pep Guardiola. So they drew 1-1. Enzo scoring that last goal that sealed it for them. Then Liverpool drawing against Fulham. Again, there was a late screamer from Fulham that sealed this particular one, and this gave Arsenal more gap. Now let me tell you, the team Arsenal is more lonely up there with 48 points. 48 points. Man City coming up next with 42 points. Then Villa with 42 as well. Liverpool with 34. Wow, the point difference is actually huge when you look at the fourth team and the third team. So it's really too much to look out for. But in mind, it's not yet done. The Premier League returns this week with more actions coming up. But away from the Premier League, of course, we've been having the Africa Cup of Nations going on. Yes, Africa Cup of Nations. We have a couple of teams that have already booked their slot to the quarterfinals. We have Mali up against Senegal, that's coming up on Friday. We have Cameroon up against Morocco, that's still coming up on Friday. So Cameroon booked up their spot after beating South Africa's Bafana Bafana in a game that was, of course, expected by some and unexpected by some. But there are a couple of games that are coming out tonight to see who will actually make their way to the quarterfinals. We have Egypt up against Benin. We have Nigeria up against Mozambique. We have Algeria up against DR Congo. And then we have Ivory Coast against Burkina Faso. I don't know who you guys think is going to make it to the quarterfinals, then the semis, then the finals. Who you think the winner of the final is going to be of this year's edition of AFCON, but let us know in the comment section. And if you think Manchester United sacking their coach will elevate their performance, let us know. Bye, guys.
And that's a wrap for tonight, guys. As always, please do leave a like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you again tomorrow. Bye.